Oh, yeah, come on, please. I'm sure it happens every day.
Hey everybody, so we were talking in some of the other live streams the other night, and several nights everybody's talking about their preference on vehicles and bashing my Fords. So I wanted to kind of do a video and explain to y'all why I like Fords. Actually, my dad was a Chevy mechanic. He worked for Dossett Big 4 in Tupelo when I was first born, when I was a baby. And a couple of years after that, he bought an orange Chevy 4-wheel drive step side.
A lot like this one, but his was jacked up with big tires, and we called it Shorty.
And that's actually what I learned to drive in. So I learned to drive in a Chevy. I thought that's what I would always want if I ever got my own truck, but I used to live more in the city, and I always had cars and mommy mobiles and things like that, and I never really got the option to buy what I wanted whenever I did buy vehicles, or we bought vehicles as a family. So right before Clay and I met, I had what I could afford at the time because I was newly divorced, and I had a Hyundai Elantra, which was what I could afford, and it was a reliable vehicle. It had a warranty on it, and I knew, me being a single mother, that I would, you know, need something like that. So not having a man at home, I would have a way to take care of myself or my family and be able to get back and forth, and it was reliable, and so that's what I had. Well, my dad got sick, and we were driving to Memphis a lot, and while it was really good on fuel, it was not great for long trips. It was not comfortable at all for long trips. And by this time, Clay and I had been together for a while, and he said, why don't you get a vehicle that you're really gonna like? Why don't you get something that's comfortable? And I said, you know, I do a lot of stuff for myself. You know, Clay helps me with a lot of stuff, and he's a really great guy, and I love him very much. But I was always brought up to kind of know how to take care of myself and do things for myself. So I thought, you know, if I'm going to get a vehicle and it's going to be my choice, I'm going to get something that I have a little bit more of ability to take care of things myself sometimes. And sometimes it's not by choice. It's just by what you have to do. Suck it up and go on. So I thought, well, I want a Chevy truck, and I want a red one. And he's like, okay, well, I really suggest before you buy a truck, he said, I'm not telling you one way or the other. He said, I think before you buy your own truck that's going to be yours, you should try a couple of them out. And I was like, nope. I know that's what I want. I want a red Chevy truck. So he knew a guy that had bought one brand new Z71 4-wheel drive. It was a beautiful extended cab truck.
Very similar to this one.
And that guy had had it a long time, taken very good care of it, and he traded it in with Clay's brother-in-law, who had an auto dealership. And so he's like, why don't we start there? We'll go look at that, because I know that truck's been taken really good care of. That's what I want to do. So we talked the guy into staying like late after work. We drove all the way up there, and it was dark. I didn't care. I knew I was going home with that truck. And so we got in the truck and we started driving down the highway, and this was nice, smooth highway. So I know any little problems, you know, I'd be able to feel it. And that truck reminded me of a dog we used to have. Her name was Dream. We fostered her for a lady for a long time, and she was a really sweet dog, but everywhere she went, she was just shaking and wiggling. Like her back end was just constantly wiggling. And that's what that Chevy truck actually reminded me of. And I didn't remember my dad's truck doing that, but I drove a couple of others. Actually, that's what they all reminded me of, and I didn't remember my dad's truck doing that when I was driving it. But so anyway, he's like, don't just jump into it on this one. He said, why don't you wait till the weekend? We'll drive a couple of more trucks, look for some other things. And I thought, well, this is such a good deal. I know this guy's gonna give us a good deal, because he's family, and he was going to try to give us a good deal. We still had a little wiggle room on him, but anyway. So that next weekend, we were going to go to duck camp. We were ready to go duck hunting. He said, why don't we just swing by this one dealership? They're always getting stuff in, and it's a car dealership, but they're constantly just getting in a little bit of everything. And they were just starting up at the time, so they were trying to get a little bit for everybody so they could get a lot of people in. And we drove around the back of it, and they had actually just gotten it in and not even cleaned it up to put it out. But it was an F-150.
A lot like this one.
And oh my gosh, it was the Lariat package, I think. And I had never been in a Ford truck with the exception of Clay's truck. And as soon as I sat in that truck and cranked it up and backed out, I knew that was the truck I wanted. I fell in love with that truck. So I bought that truck and I got a smoking deal on it because we were trying to get going to duck camp, trying to buy the truck, and they had so many people there. They kept messing up the paperwork. They kept messing up this and that, and it was on a Saturday. They called me back twice during the week at work. Things had to be fixed or changed with the paperwork. And by the time it was all done, I mean, I stole that truck pretty much, but I loved that truck. And I kept that truck until it was almost 200,000 miles on it. And we had some changes, excuse me, we had some changes in our life. You know, everybody has those changes that kind of turns your world upside down. And so because of the fuel mileage at the time, this was before all the flex fuel and all this stuff, we decided we were going to trade in the truck. We were worried it wasn't reliable enough at the time because though things are easy to fix on it, a lot of times I was going to be by myself and Clay was going to be busy or working nights or working away from home. So we got an Altima, and it was the new body style with the new this and new that, and though we loved the seats, it was making a weird noise. It was used when we bought it, and I was just like, he's like, no, I don't want you on the road with that. You know, you've already traded in your truck. And let me tell you, I cried when I traded in that truck too. That was a long night at the dealership, and when they came to get the keys after I'd cleaned it out, it was a rough night. I loved that truck. But anyway, so we traded in the Altima for a Toyota Camry. Oh my God, I will never, ever, ever, ever buy another Toyota Camry ever, and there's many reasons, and I will tell you why. Yes, I hear Toyotas last forever, but they are not comfortable cars. It's just something about a car made in the U.S., and it may be because we're spoiled and fat and plump. I don't know what it is, and they just make it where it cradles our rear ends, but I love a U.S. made vehicle. Either way,
it was a brand new Camry.
It was an absolutely brand new Camry. Absolutely brand new. I think it had like 11 miles on it or something like that. But Clay said, look, we're not going to keep doing this. You know, I'm on the road a lot. Let's just get something that's going to be really good, really reliable. It's going to have a good warranty on it. He said, get every single thing you want on this car because we're not going to just keep doing this. You need to get you a really good car. Get what you really, really want. And I'd never been told that before. But anyway, that's even another story. So we went through the whole thing. We wanted the really good stereo system. We wanted the leather. We wanted this and that. Well, you can't really buy, especially a foreign car that's leather. It's leather touch, which is pretty much just the edges is actual leather. Everything else is the faux leather or suede that's been done this and that. So anyway, we picked out the color I wanted, the sunroof, and we took that car and took it to the Nissan place and compared it to another car, and we were talking about the stereo systems and this and that. Well, the salesman led us to believe that it had things that couldn't be seen, but it was the Bose stereo system. They just have to do it a different way and this and that. Well, it wasn't. We hated that car. We hated that car after about the first week. We hated that car, and it wasn't anything in particular about it. It's just, it was not the car that the salesman told us it was. It wasn't the car that our own hopes had told us it was, because Toyota is supposed to be the most reliable, most wonderful car on the market, this and that. Well, we didn't keep it a year. I want to say we kept it 8 or 9 months. This was a brand new Toyota Camry. It was like a 2014 and a half or 15 and a half or whatever. So we started talking about trucks again, and it didn't take long. We were already shooting up to F-250. We were doing the trucking business. We needed something, and I will tell you why we decided we needed something. I was running for parts while I was working in Tupelo, which is about 45 minutes from home. That's where all the big parts places were, all the big truck part places were, and I would run on my lunch or after work, this and that, and pick up big things. And you want to talk about weird, I hauled anywhere from 50 to 800 pounds of cow feed in a Toyota Camry. It was dragging tail, let me tell you, all the way to Boonville, but it just was not the vehicle for us, especially for me when I have to kind of pick up what's dragging or what's getting left behind because Clay's so busy or home's so busy or the boys are so busy. Not to mention the fact that our half-mile driveway with the hill on it, I got stuck in the Camry one day coming down the hill after it had been raining on my way to work, and I had to push my doors open where I was caved in with mud to get out of the car to try to push it back the rest of the way down the hill and then walk back up the hill to get Clay's truck to go to work. So the Camry just didn't work out for farm life. We decided on an F-250. And I've told y'all the story of the day we went and bought the F-250. We searched online, Clay researched, we found the best deal, the most beautiful F-250, and it's actually almost the exact match to the 2003 F-250 that we have, our farm truck stretch, and that's why I love Ford trucks. It's the way they drive, it's the stiffness in them, it's the way they pull. If I have to hook up a gooseneck trailer, you know, it's not going to wiggle back to it, and then by the time I hit the brake, it's going to shift over to one side. When I back up to it, it's going to hook up exactly where I've got that ball. It pulls good. It's just the way it feels when you drive it. It's comfortable, it drives like a Cadillac, and I love a Ford truck.